Hello, good morning. My name is Damian Obinagoko. I am a student of the Higher Education Diploma with Lindirect, and I'm here to submit my Unit 13 assignment that talks about mental health and coping strategies. And I want to start with my presentation outline. First of all, I'm going to be discussing a range of sources of psychological stress. I'm going to be explaining the effect of a range of major sources of psychological stress. I'll also be explaining a range of coping strategies used to reduce stress. And I'll also give an assessment of the effectiveness of a variety of coping strategies. Now I'll move to the next slide that talks about the introduction to psychological stress. Now, if you look at this slide where I illustrated with a figure on a woman that is stressed, you know, it gives you an insight what stress is all about. And stress, it's a kind of a discomfort. It comes from inside and gives an outward expression, you know. So one type of stress brought on by alteration in social circumstances is psychological stress. It is well recognized that psychological stress can have some very detrimental effects. You understand? So if you read through, you will understand my introduction clearly and my definition. Now I want to move to the major range of sources of psychological stress. First of all, one of the ranges is stressor, which I'm going to talk about briefly here. Stressor award lead to psychological strains, an incident, encounter, or external stimulation that makes someone feel stressed out, which is referred to as what? Stressor. You know, and I gave a varieties of ranges of stresses here. One is crisis or catastrophe, another one is major life event, and also daily hustles. Now I'm gonna discuss briefly on this range of sources of psychological stress. All right. Now, crisis. This is merely a term used to describe an uncontrollable occurring events or catastrophe that affects the human. You know. Now, major life events. If you read carefully here, you will see how I illustrated it carefully. You know, and the daily hustles. So these are apparently ranges of what of sources that causes psychological what stress. I pinpointed here clearly, you know. Now I'm gonna move and I also further pinpoint ambient stressor, organizational stressor, you know, and I use I have my illustrations here with a figure. Figure 3 talks about air pollution, while figure 4 talks about a boss harassing an employee. So all these I have discussed here and comprises a range of sources that causes psychological what stress. You know, a range of sources of psychological what stress. So I'm gonna move to my next slide where I will be explaining the effect of range of psychological what stress. Now, psychological stress affects five major areas of our life. This includes personal, family, friends, employment, study, housing, money, and social what factors. Now I will explain. Personal. At personal level, it causes illness, infertility problems, difficulties handling daily tasks, experiencing abuse, and low quality of life. Read through my slide, you will understand how I clearly explained these effects of range of middle sort of psychological stress. You know, family and friends, employment and study, housing, money, and also lastly the social what factor. Clearly, clearly, you know, it was I stated here clearly. Now I'm going to move to my next slide where I'll be talking about where I'll be explaining a range of coping strategies for reducing what stress. Now, first of all, let me give you an example of what is coping when it comes to the mental scenario. Now, coping is defined as a thought and behaviors that has been mobilized to manage the internal and external stressful what situations. I repeat, it is being defined as a thought and behaviors mobilized to manage the internal and external what stressful what situations. Now, a range of common strategies for reducing stress. One, outline it here. Learn stress management, keep a daily routine, get enough sleep, connect with others, healthy eating, and limit the time following news. Now, my stress management here, which I illustrated with a figure, that's figure 5, can also give you a wide range on what I'm talking about. Now, now I'm going to further explain the effectiveness of stress coping strategies. One, keep a daily routine. What am I talking about here? Working with prepared schedule or have a to-do list which will guide you. Get enough sleep. Sleep well at night. Sleep well at night. Make sure you have at least 8 hours of sleep every day. Connect with others. What am I talking about here? Socializing, healthy eating, eat properly, have a diet, have a structure of eating, eat a balanced diet. That will also help you. Regular exercise, very simple. Limit the time following news. I'm referring to emotional news here, like example, bad news. They have a way of creating a negative mindset. They have a way of traumatizing an individual, So when you limit your time following news, bad news, that's what I was trying to hear, it will help to control these measures. You understand? It will help to do what? Control these measures. So I'm also going to talk about yes, basically, So in conclusion, what I have discussed in my next slide, as I move to my next slide, is psychological stress, as stress is caused by changes in social situations due to strain and pressure, which negatively impact the life of a person. Psychological stress could result from multiple sources, such as crisis experience like pandemic, major life events like marriage and divorce, and daily hustles like pollution and crowding, as well as organizational sources like toxic leadership. you know I explained it here carefully, so it might occur to you that when you take your time to go through my slide, you understand the area where I am coming from. And lastly, psychological stress can be managed by applying a bit of combination of the following: good dieting, applying the World Health Organization guidelines on stress management, associating with families and friends, taking time off work, regular exercise, enough sleep, and the use of routine schedules. This will help you to actualize or to understand the area where I am coming from. You know, so it is very understandable that these are the very sources where we should understand how these things work. So I want to thank you for giving me your time and listening to me, and I want to see you again in my next video. Thank you.